You're listening to The Wedding Whisperer with Sarah Burton of Simply Love Studio in Lexington, Kentucky. Today, I'll be chatting with venue manager Taylor Swanson of the Clerestory here in Lexington. And the Clerestory is actually an undiscovered venue here in Lexington. Taylor, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So if someone is not familiar with the Clerestory, tell me about it.
We are a 6,000 square foot event space that is essentially a blank canvas for our clients to really create that aesthetic that they're looking for specifically for their event. We primarily host weddings, but we also do corporate and other events as well.
If someone isn't familiar with where the Clerestory is located at, fill them in.
So we are housed in the former bus depot station that was located on West Loudon. Our space is located in the backside of Gray Line Station.
The very first thing I asked you before we even started this was how to properly pronounce Clerestory, because I've heard it a million different ways. And even like in fast conversations, sometimes I say it the Clerestory. So it is the Clerestory.
Correct. It is pronounced Clerestory.
Okay. And so you actually work under Shelley Fortune Events, and she is technically like the property manager of the venue.
That is correct. So Shelley has been in the wedding industry for 15 plus years here in Lexington, and she found a need for a larger event space located in downtown Lexington that had parking on site. So that's a little bit about her background. She is our owner, and I am the venue manager.
And you've been on her team for about 6 years now?
That is correct.
Okay. And then you've been the venue manager for almost 3 years now?
Yes.
Awesome. How was it transitioning from kind of planning into being a venue manager?
It's been a great transition, honestly. I originally got my start in the industry in another venue in Lexington. So I really enjoyed that work, and it was a seamless transition.
Awesome. I think venue is something that I always tell all my interns that they need to work at a venue when they first get started, because you learn so much. You see the behind the scenes. You get to meet the vendors. Being at a venue is a whole different ball game than being the other vendors going into all the different venues every weekend.
Absolutely. You definitely get to make those vendor connections and meet everyone in the industry, which is super beneficial.
Yep. And before we get into really what the space offers, I do want to touch on the fact that you won the Best Bathroom Award from Lex Today this year, and you were nominated last year. You were in the top 3 last year, I think.
Yes.
It is one of my favorite bathrooms here in Lexington, the women's restroom. The wallpaper makes literally the best bridal portraits.
It does. We are obviously biased, but we do love our restrooms. And if you end up touring with us, it is actually the first thing I will show you.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about what the space offers. You said it was about 6,000 square feet?
It is. So the space is essentially a blank canvas. It's 6,000 square feet. We can accommodate around 250 seated up to 350 with a more informal cocktail feel if you're needing that space for dancing and all the fun wedding areas. We do have a circle drive area as well that has been very popular for hosting outdoor ceremonies or cocktail hours. That space can be tinted for weather-related issues as well. On the inside, our main space can be completely open to give a full open air feel, or we do have curtain room dividers as well that our couples will utilize should they wish to separate the main space in order to host their ceremony behind the curtains or cocktail hour. We have seen it set up in many different ways. So I would say our site probably has 6 different areas that you could feature your ceremony in, and the layouts are pretty much endless based on your particular guest count and vision for the day. We do have a backside of the venue that can be closed off that we like to refer to as Vendorland. It serves as a catering prep area. They have a private bathroom back there for vendors, as well as the wedding party, should that be necessary for any sort of outfit changes or anything that needs to happen behind the scenes, not in the main guest restrooms. And we also have a green room space that is great for the wedding party to store personal items in, vendors, and that is where our staff can be found as well.
And I will say that every time I see wedding photos from there, it is set up completely different. Every ceremony is set up different. It's facing a different direction. There's everything about it is different. It really is a blank canvas. And I feel like every couple that walks in there has a different vision for the day, which I really like.
Yes, that is one of our favorite aspects of the day. On our side, it's really beautiful to see what each couple creates that's truly representative of them. And then we don't end up seeing the same setup every single weekend. We get to see wonderful variety from everyone.
If the couple is having a seated dinner for all of their guests, you can fit about 250 seated inside?
That is correct. We recommend around 250 just so it is fully comfortable. However, we have hosted larger amounts just based on the particular couple's guest count. If they know that they're not going to need dancing space for all 250, we can work with that and add additional tables. We have hosted 350 seated before, but that's been for an event that didn't have a dance floor or buffet and all the things. So
okay. So we talk about these numbers, and I feel like somebody is listening to this. Well, that's a great number, but where can everybody park? Do you get that question a lot?
We do get parking questions a lot, especially being with downtown. So we do have a on-site parking lot that is directly accessible from our Circle Drive and very close for your guests. That being said, we do also have partnerships with some of our neighboring businesses where we can rent out additional private parking if you are concerned with the amount of spaces for your guests, if your guest count is upwards 300, since it is a shared lot with Great Line.
And then I know sometimes whenever couples have a lot of out-of-town guests and they are all staying downtown, they will also shuttle from the hotels there and back and stuff.
That is correct. We get many couples that choose to use various transportation services, and in that case, they will just get dropped off at the top of the Circle Drive, and then the buses will remain on site in our parking lot to shuttle guests back at the end of the night.
Perfect. And then talking about hotels and Airbnbs, where do you see most of your couples that are doing all of their events at Clerestory? Where do you see them getting ready at that morning?
We do have a preferred vendor list that has tons of recommendations for various getting ready spaces. That includes Airbnbs and a lot of studios from various photographers that we work with that offer that service as well. Additionally, if a client is choosing hotels for room blocks, most often they will go ahead and get a suite for getting ready and then to have that area for the end of the night.
One of the biggest things that I hear from my couples when I mention the venue, if they tell me they have already toured it, they loved it, but the drawback that they saw is they have to bring in their own rentals. And while that may sound like a daunting task to a couple, that is something that wedding vendors do every single day. And it's so normal for us. So walk me through what the venue actually includes and what a couple would have to bring in for their wedding day.
So originally, Clerestory was fully a blank canvas and did not include any rentals outside of our bar fronts. That being said, we have found that everyone needs a place to sit, so we have purchased an inventory of tables that are available to all of our clients to utilize. Outside of that, everything else would need to be brought in. It definitely can seem daunting to clients. However, we are more than happy to help coordinate rental orders and help our clients within their budget and specific aesthetic find the perfect rental partner for them.
And there are so many great computer programs now where you can design your floor layouts. You can see what the tables would look like if they're round, if they're rectangle, if you're doing farmhouse tables or vineyard tables. And all of the rental companies will also help couples design all of that too. You can go into Purdens or Golf and they can put the linens on the table. They'll put the napkins on the table. They'll put all the things on the table, the chairs against them. So you can see exactly what they're going to look like to make sure that you really like it.
Absolutely. Yes. We love sending our clients to the showrooms to play around and see what may fit best. We also allow for our couples to come into this space with specific rentals to see those set up and kind of get an idea and a feel for it in our venue.
And I always tell couples to look at the tagged photos on Instagram as well, to see how other couples are doing it. And I've been known to be like, okay, counting the tables and like, how many fit here? How did this go? Like, how many long tables did they have? So looking at what other people have done, you've had enough weddings now there that couples can get inspiration from that. And most planners have worked there now as well. And so they can share those floor plans with you. If the rental situation is the only thing that is holding you back, absolutely don't let that hold you back.
Yes, absolutely. We have a ton of example floor plans that we can share with our clients and can create new ones as well. So that is something we are perfectly happy to assist with. And we also do tours on Saturday mornings of weddings so couples can actually see the space fully set instead of coming in when it may be completely unset, and that does end up being a little bit overwhelming.
That's really good that you do that. I didn't realize you did that, because I do think getting to actually see it, and even if it's just halfway set up when they're there, it's just really good that they get to see it that way.
On the tours that we give where there is nothing set in the space, we encourage them to come back and see it when it's set.
The one vendor that you do require your couples to use is Old North Bar for the bar.
That is correct. We do have an exclusive partnership with Old North Bar. They are located directly inside Gray Line Station, so they are in sight and always available for your bar needs. That being said, outside of Old North Bar, we do not require any other specific vendors. While we do have an extensive preferred vendor list of all types of vendors that have been to our space and our couples have raved about. That is just kind of a guide to get you started on your planning journey, and you are able to hire anyone you would like.
And I've talked on previous episodes about the benefits of having the bar on site. It's one less thing they have to worry about. And I think that you can sometimes save a little bit of money when it is that way, because you have a little bit more control over the option that you want to go with. So I like that. And I think the beautiful white bars that you have there look so classy, and they can do bars outside for cocktail hour. You can move them all around. I think it's a really great partnership. At the Clerestory, on the day of the wedding, do you have a venue manager on site that kind of just oversees everything?
Yes, we do. We will be on site to meet your team when they arrive in the morning, and we will have a venue representative for the duration of your entire event to make sure that all venue-related items are taken care of, including maintaining the restrooms, handling any lighting or draping needs, as well as being that main point of contact for your entire vendor team so that nobody is coming to the couple or their family on the day of.
With your on-site venue coordinator, does that person also serve as the bride's coordinator, or is that someone that is strictly there for the venue?
Our venue representative does not serve as a coordinator or planner for your event. So we do require an event coordinator. That being said, it can just be a day of coordinator. Essentially, that'll just be somebody that is our main point of contact to come to with any sort of timeline questions.
Okay, perfect. I am always a big fan of having at least a day of coordinator, and often we hear the terms day of and month of interchangeably. I'm assuming you mean the same thing by that too. And then I know some couples will have full service planners there as well, but always team planner over here. Let's talk a little bit about some of the photo opportunities that are there. Some of the photos are absolutely incredible that I've seen from the inside, from the outside. If they do them outside of just right around there, where are they going downtown for photos?
We have had couples actually use the entire Gray Line property for photos and the streets surrounding downtown. There's some great market lights in the area. We also see a lot of couples go to Henry Clay Estate. That has been a very popular photo location, as well as Gratz Park.
Okay. And I know that there are several murals there on site as well. And some of the photos that I have seen with those are absolutely stunning. And then, of course, like I think they're hydrangeas, because I don't know all my flowers. All of the hydrangea bushes around like the front and the side during the summer, those are absolutely beautiful. Honestly, I don't even think they have to leave the property to do photos. I mean, there's enough places there inside and outside with the different like textures and the brick and everything that I think that they could get all of the photos they needed there, to be honest.
Absolutely. A lot of our couples do just remain directly on site for ease of photography logistics.
And two, that stretches your time with a photographer as well. And I know I've seen on a lot of the photos how couples are doing draping on the ceiling, and they're also doing like twinkle lights and market lights on the ceiling. Are there any things that you all have secretly hoped couples would do that maybe they haven't done yet for a wedding?
We have seen a ton of different setups, especially regarding hanging installations, whether it be the lighting, draping that you've mentioned. We've seen tons of floral installs, disco balls. We have actually had an event hire an aerial artist. And so there's really unlimited opportunities on how you decorate the space. There is a trend going on where instead of 2 lines for a send-off, the couple will have all their guests gather around them in a circle with sparklers. We've seen some really stunning photos, and I think our circle drive would be perfect for that.
I have actually not seen that trend, so I'm going to have to go check that out. I'm here for all of those fun things. And then talking about floral installations, I know that one of the biggest ones that you have done there was in Inside Magazine.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that wedding.
So we did have a wedding that was featured in Inside Weddings and Kentucky Bride, and it was absolutely stunning. It was a winter wedding, and they did a magnificent floral install over their dance floor, had Christmas trees as the backdrop for their band. It was just absolutely stunning, start to finish.
And so you can actually Google probably the Clerestory and a winter wedding, and all of that's going to come up. And
Yes.
I'll post some of that as well. And talking about some of the fun things, I know you've had dueling pianos there before.
Yes, we have.
A lot of people or a lot of couples have done some tall draping that has been super fun. I know Nadia has done some colored dance floor wraps. So it really is something, it's a venue that you can make it your own. And that's one of the reasons that I love it so much. And we've talked about all of these great things today, but let's talk a little bit about pricing, because I mean, that's what everybody wants to know. So walk me through your pricing structures, different days, how many days do they get it for, all of those things.
So we are on a daily rental basis. So our rates Monday through Thursday for weddings are $3,500. Fridays and Sundays are $4,200, and Saturdays are $5,500. That gives you access to the space from 10 a.m. until 11 p.m. 11 p.m. is just the end time of the event due to the local noise ordinance. Then vendors can start cleaning up afterwards. So that is not a hard end where everything needs to be complete and cleaned. That is just in time for music. That being said, if we are not booked the day before or following, we absolutely do allow our couples to come in on Friday, go ahead and get things set and ready. So it is pretty much turnkey for various different vendor drop-offs on Saturday morning. And then rentals can also be picked up that following Monday morning.
And I always tell brides that although they want that Friday, to never bank on having that Friday unless they actually rent it themselves. Because somebody can come in a few weeks before for whatever type of event and rent it. So is there an option for them to rent the full day on Friday as well for full price or a discounted rate?
Yes, we absolutely do offer a multi-day discounted rental for the couples that absolutely know that they are wanting either to host their rehearsal dinner with us also, or just make sure that they have that guaranteed day for rental set up. It's actually a new package that we've created just because there has been tons of interest for it. So we do offer an additional rental that basically would give them access for setup all day Friday and then guarantee that access for Monday rental pickup to avoid any sort of after-hour fees that may pop up if we were to book something the day before or after.
Perfect. And I do think that is something that couples do want to keep in mind if they are going with a venue that has a Friday, Saturday, Sunday option, because rentals, when they have to be picked up on the weekend, does get a little pricey because rental companies have to send their guys out at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. So those are always questions to ask and things to keep in mind.
Yes, absolutely. And we will do everything that we can to help save those additional fees around our event schedule.
And you all have a little bit more storage space than some other venues do, and being able to put stuff out of the way. Talking about those prices, those are going into 2024. Those could at some point rise a little bit. You do keep things on your website, so couples can always look at the website to know up-to-date pricing.
Yes, absolutely.
looking at 2024, how does your availability look? Do you still have some dates open for couples?
We do still have some dates sprinkled throughout the year with availability. If couples would like to reach out, if they have a particular date in mind or a time frame, we can definitely accommodate 2024 dates still.
And then even if Saturday's booked and they love the venue, there's always Friday and Sunday. I know this year one of my brides had a wedding on a Monday. So you can get married any day of the week. It doesn't have to be a Saturday.
Yes, absolutely. We've actually seen several weekday weddings in this space that have been so beautiful and fun. And it's just such a different feel, but it really works out very, very well. But yes, while our Saturdays do book up pretty quickly, we'd have tons of flexibility with Fridays on the weekends that the couples haven't chosen to rent out the space for the entire weekend.
And then, of course, we're in engagement season now and looking at 2025. Are you booking for 2025 yet?
We have just started booking for 2025. So our calendar is open for that year. Yeah, we're excited.
Awesome. And two, if you are looking at September, October in Kentucky for a wedding, this is really your time to start looking for a 2025 unless you want to be flexible on your venue, because venue is the number one thing that typically books up. You have a little bit of time on some of the other vendors, but if there's a venue you love and you want a fall wedding, now is your time to start booking that. Taylor, thank you so much for joining me today. If a couple wants to look at your social media and website, tell them how they can find it.
Absolutely. So you can find us on social media at the Clerestory, and our website is theclerestory.com.
Awesome. And then you can always reach out to Taylor and schedule a tour.
Absolutely.
For more information about Simply Love Studio or to schedule your wedding consultation, go to simplylovestudio.com.